So boom, we got a reaction video today. Joy Taylor talking about splitting the bill. I did this video and deleted it because I didn't like my delivery on it, so I'm gonna be working on that. Also, on my other video about the coffee dates, I don't know when this is gonna drop. This might drop the day after the coffee dates video. Listen, I got kind of wild on that joint. I'm going to try and reel it back. I'm going to try and be a little bit more calculated, all of that good stuff, articulate myself a little bit better, all of that. So let's get into the video. But before we do, please put a like on the vid.
The splitting the bill conversation. What do we do? The men, do we pay for the men? When do we pay for the men? It has happened. It broke my heart because, Taylor and I pride ourselves on these not being our problems. And to be clear, they still are not my problems. But a friend of mine was on her dating journey. Okay. And she went out with a man twice. They had lovely dates. He paid for everything, wined and dined. Okay. 2 dates. On the 3rd date, they spent a day together, ordered a bunch of things, had some drinks, had a good time. Really long day. So pretty significant bill. Let's call it a couple $100.
So one thing I have to highlight, she just mentioned that a bill that is a couple $100, which is 200 for people who don't know what a couple is, that is a significant bill for dinner. So note that she said that. The 2 things I want to say to that: number one, all the chicks well, first off, we'll make this number one. Joy Taylor is an ESPN analyst. Her brother is like some football NFL player, something like that. Probably an all-star or whatever, or Pro Bowler or whatever. Probably even a champion, maybe. I don't know. I don't care. But her being in that world, I'm sure she's dated a lot of athletes, as far as professional athletes, and a lot of people with a lot of money and things of that nature. So with that, if she's saying it's a pretty significant bill for $200, that brings me to number 2. When I have these $200 date conversations and stuff like that with women who make less than her, with women who date guys that make less than the guys that she dates and stuff like that, they try to act like $200 is not a significant amount of money. So I just want this to just be squashed. If Joy Taylor, who has way better options than most of these chicks, is saying that that is a significant bill to any degree, it's a significant bill for dinner. So let's get that out the way. Let's continue.
Okay. Because she had to put her card down for this particular place. So when they went to pay, he was like, oh, your card is down. And now she didn't speak up and ended up paying for the bill. They had plans for another date. He texted her the next day and was like, hey, I had a great time with you, but, I don't really see a long-term future with you. And so I don't really want to waste either of our times. I think you're great, but, I don't want to keep our date for next week that we had planned, which I think is very respectable. Most people just ghost. So whatever. So she's talking to me about it. She's like, but he did stick me with the bill. I was like, what are you talking about? Stuck you with the bill? How did you leave paying? She's like, oh, I just froze. So I was like, just text him and say oh, okay, well, cool. Thank you for saying that. Whatever. Had a great time too. It's 3 dates. It's not the end of the world. You don't even know this person. But here's your split for Saturday. There's no possible way you he thinks that she's just paying for his presence.
Yeah.
So we just have to highlight that entitlement right there very quickly. So she says, no way that he thinks that I am paying for his presence. As far as, her friend, if she was in his shoes, that's what, or her shoes, that's what she would say. That's how she feels. When a guy pays, what is he paying for? When you flip that, so because when you hear the chicks on the coffee date video talk, there are 2 things that they think a guy is paying for and why they deserve those expensive dates, or just dates in general, as far as dinner dates, the dates that they want. Number 1, because they put their self together and all the makeup and stuff like that. They think that deserves them a fancy dinner date or something along those lines. I just threw the word fancy in there. But again, we're talking about a couple $100. So that's where we're going. But the second thing is, they think that they're a queen, and it's just empty entitlement. empty entitlement to where I deserve this treatment just because I exist. So when she says that, you know, is so what are we paying for when we do that? Because we could say that we're paying for your presence, but you think that your presence is worth being paid for. Okay, that's cool. But then when it comes time to reciprocate, the guy's presence is not worth being paid for. Why? Because he doesn't put on MAC makeup? Or why? Because he's not a queen? Like, what are we talking about? Because those are the two things that they use to justify this type of stuff. So all we have to do there is highlight the entitlement and how women are just not really willing to reciprocate. They're not really willing to reciprocate the energy. And when I say that, I'm talking about these types of women who make these types of videos and things of that nature. But let's continue.
At minimum, just a split. Just like a, can you
Split.
send me your split?
If Taylor and I go to dinner, we split the bill. We just
Yeah.
make our credit
We
cards.
split
and
it.
Split the bill. That's it. And then we go about our day. Because Taylor ate and I ate, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not complicated. He got upset, did not send her the split, and in fact went and sent her the receipts for the last 2 dates.
So the first thing I want to address, you can't compare two women going out, especially women who got career jobs and stuff like that, to a guy taking out a woman on 2 dates and paying for 2 dates. And then when the third comes around, you know, she pays for the date. You can't compare that, because what you are basically saying is when you guys go out, you'll basically split the bill or pay for your own stuff. That's just what it is. That's what you guys do. And you do that in one setting. You're not paying for one and then paying for another one and then she pays for one. If you want it to be equal, then, you know, he pays for 2 dates and then she pays for 2 days. Now, the second thing is him sending the receipts. I don't see any problem with that, especially because what she's trying to say is it should be split down the middle or whatever. But when it comes down to it, I think sending 2 receipts for 2 dinners wouldn't make sense if those 2 dinners didn't equal more than whatever she paid for that dinner. So it's like, why would I go half on the last dinner with you when I paid for 2 whole dinners? It's common sense, so we're not going to beat this point down. Let's continue.
Basically saying like, I got the last 2 dates, so this one's on you.
This one's on you. 3 dates. Now listen.
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna let you.
No.
Go
What are your
ahead.
thoughts? What are your thoughts?
So it's tough because I just already think this like who pays for what with the dates is so just like I just like don't even always even have a point of view on it because it just feels so ridiculous. And my honest answer is I see both sides of these things. Like I see him saying I paid for like 2 of the dates. Maybe it was your turn to pay for the date. I believe in splitting things. I'm not saying that a woman doesn't need to be wined and dined. Like if a man is courting you, there's a part of taking you on dates and making you feel good and important and beautiful, making you feel taken care of. When I'm going on these dates, like I am expecting that aspect of it. That's not what I'm saying. But if you are no longer going to be dating a person and you already paid for 2 dates, the idea of feeling as though you need to, you know, show your love in that way kind of diminishes once you're no longer going to be dating that person.
Right, but he didn't pay for his half.
I'm just saying he would say, well, she didn't pay for her half.
Right, but the halves that she didn't pay for were with the intention of the courting and the taking care of part.
Right, but I'm saying now, but you're saying, but why is she paying for his?
Correct.
Yes, and that I agree with. That I agree
even
with.
this date, he asked for. Like, he asked her out. So
Yeah.
even this date was your plan.
So listen, 2 quick points. The first thing, as far as Joy trying to illustrate that there's some situation where the guy paid for 2 dates and, you know, being that they're not going to work out, he should pay the other half. I don't like, no. No, and no. I don't have to go into that again. The second thing, and I'll just be real again, because I'm a genuine guy. I'm not here with a crazy agenda or nothing like that. This is just me being real. Whoever sets up the date, whoever makes the ask, they should pay. Now, when it comes to, and this is real. When it comes to a second or third date and you wanting some reciprocation and stuff like that, as a man, you're supposed to lead. So I would say that you set the expectation that she should pay on this date, or if you want it more organic and you want to test it out and see if she gonna pay for it, you figure out your test for, oh, I left my car, I left my phone and with my cash app and everything else, I left that in outer space somewhere. I don't got no money on me. Can you pay for this? And all, like, do whatever test you gonna do. But I feel like the expectation should be set, yo, if we go out on this next date, you get this one. And depending on how she responds to that, you figure out if she's willing to reciprocate or not. That's just me. Other dudes got some other game for it. Some other dudes is like, that's beta. That's beta. You pay for everything all the time. Like, some guys are just like that. But that's the point. I feel like there should be some reciprocation at some point. It's just that simple.
So when he sent the receipts and she was like, I'm just asking you to pay for your half, which is very fair and like something I would also do. Like, you need to at least pay for your side. What did he say?
So after, I don't know, after the receipts, everyone's been blocked and we've all moved on with our lives. But I guess my shock is, one, like, the men are actually out here doing this. And I owe an apology to the girlies because I have been dismissing your experience, and that's wrong of me. And as much as I like being right, I can admit when I'm wrong. I did not think the men were actually in real life out here doing this.
I thought this was a myth.
I thought it was a myth. I thought
this was like Bigfoot or like Loch Ness Monster.
Where's the evidence? And so we would have seen this if this was happening. And I have to apologize to the girls out there. I did not know that the men were out here moving like this. And it's I just couldn't absorb that this actually happened, because
for sure
not broke, okay, by any means whatsoever. Okay. He has money, he has a good job, he by all accounts was just a normal man out dating in the world. Like, nothing, he doesn't need to be fed, like, he doesn't need a roof over his head, any of these things. So there's just no actual natural built-in excuse for this, other than, I guess, the roles have changed. I guess the men are out here moving like this. And I'm cool with this, actually. I'm with Taylor. Like, I will split the bill. I will pay for the bill when we're together. If we're together, we're together. Like, you don't need to pay for everything I do. Of course
during
not.
the initial.
How do I know that you're going to pay for everything when you don't pay for anything or reciprocate on any financial level when I'm trying to get to know you? So I'm supposed to get into a relationship with you after paying for everything with the expectation that you are going to magically become a person that is willing to pay for stuff. That's crazy.
Initial process, I don't know.
Because this is my opinion about this. And again, everyone can move how they want to move. I don't need to aspire to this. This is my experience. I want you to listen to me. I don't have these problems. My male friends pay for me. Men who take me out pay for me. Business people pay for me. It's not a flex. It's just the life I live. And then I pay for people, and I pay for my male friends, and I pay for my girlfriends, and I pay for myself, and I pay for my man. It's just money. Okay. But I understand that that's my experience. So before you start telling me how I need to move, I already move like this. And I do. Okay. I guess I'm just like, if we're going to change the gender roles, like if we're going to bend these, which I'm for, I'm with it.
Yeah.
We can't keep talking about women like this. Y'all out here doing the same thing. You can't do it. We can't do it. We can't be talking about these women are scamming for meals. Y'all are scamming for meals. I can't do it. We have to keep the same energy, guys.
So let's address this very quickly. So the first thing, she says that he is scamming for meals and that guys are scamming for meals based on this, when she already said that he makes money, he's well off, and that he doesn't need a woman to get him dinner. She already said that earlier in the clip. I say it all the time. The more you let them talk, the more they'll begin to contradict themselves. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, where is the scam? Where is the scam? I'll tell you, and this is me being real. The only question is how did she end up putting her card down? How did she end up putting her card down? That was a decision she made. That's a decision she has to be accountable for. Did he tell her to put her card down? What happened with that? What happened with that? Because it's no way for me to see this as a scam. I just don't see it as a scam. I can't find where it's a scam. Like like really think about this. So this guy who paid for 2 dates, whatever the 2 dates were that were obviously going to be worth more than what she paid for that one date because he sent 2 receipts for the other 2 dates. And guess what? One of the dates could have been more than that date or equal to that date. They could have been all in the same ballpark. Who knows? Because we don't get that information. But he does that 2 times and they go out a third time. He doesn't force her. He doesn't beat her. He doesn't say or else or anything like that. She puts her card down. Only she can do that. Now, when she pays for the meal and it doesn't work out, now she feels some type of way. Now she wants to get her money back. So you're thinking that this guy went into this date with the intention, you know what? I'm going to get a little bit of my money back and get something to eat. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm with it. If y'all want to be kept men, okay? If y'all want to be wines and dines, please believe we have to act the same. We have to act accordingly.
Listen, I could say this and be 1000% real about it, man. One of black women's favorite pastimes is emasculating men. That's what they do. So when you look at that right there, the whole sassy stuff, like all of that comes from the black community. Like in this right here, the whole kept men doing the hair and stuff like that. Emasculation, trying to say that the men are feminine and stuff like that. So you can't ever have a conversation without the insults or anything like that. You know, Kevin Samuels calls it sign language, shame, insults, guilt, that need to be right. You know, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. But listen, the more you watch this channel, the more you watch other channels, the more you go on social media in your regular life and see these memes coming up and all this stuff, the more you see the 50-50, the I'm not doing no coffee, the more you see this stuff, the more you realize a lot of these chicks just care about what you can offer financially. That's what it is. Now, the one thing that I'm going to say is, because I always say it, the chicks who really want you for you, the chicks who really think that you're actually attractive, like actually attractive physically or as far as your personality or anything like that, they're not going to have high requirements for you. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. This is the thing, man. I'm going to be real. Think about how many freaky chicks you see out here and all this stuff, man. You think these chicks don't have a urge to get their cooch beat in? Like you think they don't have that urge? Like you think they don't have that? Like they absolutely have that urge, and that urge has nothing to do, them wanting to fulfill that urge has nothing to do with what type of date you take them on. That's just me being real. And the one last thing I'm going to say, I feel I don't have to say this, but this is not all women. I don't think it's even the majority of women, because I see a lot of women give pushback to this type of stuff, and a lot of the stuff that you see on my channel as far as like, the 50-50 type stuff, all the financial, he got to do XYZ type stuff. There are a lot of women who support it, but there are a lot of women who actually go against the grain and stuff like that. This is what it is, man. And I need you to really just understand this. These types of women are the women who have, their mating schedule, they have gotten to the point where they are done having fun and they are seeking a provider. They're seeking somebody to save them, bro. You don't want any part of these women anyway. And when you see women supporting this type of stuff, that you actually know, women that you actually know, make a mental note. If you don't have that good of a memory, go ahead and make a note in your phone or whatever. Start putting down some of the names like, I'm not messing with her ever. Yeah, she attractive physically, but I'm not doing it, dog. With that being said, man, we done for today, man. Please put a like on the vid. Let me know your thoughts and subscribe if you're new here. I do this stuff damn near every day. We out.